The moment the silence inside the palace started feeling louder than any announcement, everything changed, and now the question isn't what happened, it's why no one is saying it out loud. Because right at the center of this unfolding storm sits a decision that doesn't look like a decision, it looks like a quiet erasure. A shift so subtle, it almost disappears unless you're watching closely. And yet, every clue, every missing photo, every awkward speech, every forced smile is pointing in the same direction. Something has been cut out. Something or someone has been deliberately removed from the narrative, and the fallout is starting to crack through the surface in ways that can no longer be ignored.
A nervous breakdown that a picture of his young niece,
Prince William and Kate Middleton's little girl, is all grown up. Princess Charlotte, the only daughter of the prince.
The daughter of Kate Middleton and Prince William is now 11 years old, and the royal family continues the annual tradition.
Sussex allegedly told the Daily Mail that Harry is very sad. His children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, are
him for that. He gave a speech in which he kind of had a breakdown, you know.
Especially sending Prince George to boarding school. Quote, I think they'll have to wait to see how the children's personality.
She said that if she took Archie to school in the UK, there would be a press pen of 40 people snapping pictures.
His son's name down for Eton and has no plans to send his son there, the statement reads. Harry.
Locks were on full display, but Harry isn't the only one passing down traits. It's clear, Lilibet.
King Charles reportedly isn't as active in his grandchildren's lives as he'd like to be. And, to the surprise of absolutely no one.
Now, Prince Harry is reportedly very sad that Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet are missing out on life with the rest.
Currently, King Charles has removed her picture from his home at Highgrove. We have this picture that was apparently taken by Chris Jackson.
Prince Harry is back in the UK and back at the High Court. The Duke of Sussex is leading a high...
It was a very rare event actually attended by King Charles, Prince Harry, and...
The deal is 2 cameras, first day, and after that you disappear and you leave us alone, and they do.
Markle, and if we even just look at the data, King Charles barely knows Meghan Markle, right? Even though he walked her down the aisle. And
it really makes me think right back to when I revealed the story of Megxit, and it has become folklore now. But
this whole thing is not just for Harry to be surrounded by this ring of steel. He also claims he can't bring...
Popularity poll ratings are now the lowest they've ever been. And I genuinely think this time next year,
poll ratings are now the lowest they've ever been. And I genuinely think this time next year, those numbers don't just drop on their own. Poll ratings collapsing like that, that's not coincidence, that's consequence. And the timing is everything. Because while the public sees declining popularity, inside the palace, the real story is being written in silence. Decisions are being made without announcements. Faces are disappearing from frames. And what looks like a slow decline from the outside is actually a controlled reset from within. Then suddenly, the focus shifts almost like a distraction, almost like a carefully placed contrast.
Breakdown that a picture of his young niece
Kate Middleton and Prince William is now 11 years old, and the royal family continues the annual tradition by releasing a tradition, a stable image, a controlled narrative. Kate Middleton and Prince William presented exactly as expected, polished, consistent, untouchable. But here's the unsettling part. When one side of the story is being amplified this perfectly, it raises the question, what is being suppressed on the other side? Because behind that picture-perfect continuity, something else is unraveling, and it's not subtle anymore. It's slipping out in fragments, awkward speeches, strange absences, emotional cracks that weren't supposed to be visible.
Kate Middleton and Prince William is now 11 years old, and the royal family continues the annual tradition by...
And for that, he gave a speech in which he kind of had a breakdown, you know. A breakdown, not a slip, not a stumble, a breakdown. And when someone at that level begins to crack publicly, even slightly, it's never just about the moment, it's about the pressure building behind it. The kind of pressure that comes from being cornered, from losing control of the narrative, from realizing that the story is moving forward without you. And then, almost jarringly, the tone shifts again, but this time it's more personal, more revealing.
The Daily Mail that Harry is very sad. His children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, are missing out on growing up.
Almost too revealing. Instagram post, Meghan snapped a mirror selfie inside her closet as Lilibet crouched down at a mirror selfie. A private moment made public. Meghan Markle framing a version of reality that feels intimate, controlled, curated, but look closer because while that image is being shared, other images are quietly disappearing elsewhere. And that contrast, it's not accidental. It's strategic. Because as those personal glimpses appear, the institutional distance grows wider. The disconnect becomes sharper. And suddenly, the question isn't about what is being shown, it's about what is being withheld.
Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, who all attend school together in England. The reported comments came after William and
the Sussexes do not intend to send their son to Eton College, the British boarding school that Harry attended. That Instagram post. Meghan snapped a mirror selfie inside her closet as Lilibet crouched down at King Charles, barely gets to see his own grandchildren, and depending on who you ask, it's all Harry's fault, that view, but almost blackmailing the Ravic or the royal household or the king. I think he is, but the big day has arrived. Queen Elizabeth finally meets her namesake, baby Lilibet, face to face. A photo of Prince Harry and Meghan on their 2018 wedding day has been removed from its position at King Charles's, shout out to Chris Jackson, but we can see here we have Charles with a family picture with Prince William, with Harry, that you know what, I barely know you. You're a washed up reality star and I don't want your picture in my house. I don't want the picture that's missing from the wedding for very good reason. I reckon Camilla, the name of natural history filmmaking, I've enjoyed every minute of it. Twice with the Light Queen, but he has also done events like Harry was at the Netflix event that was attended. It was a very rare event, that 100th birthday on May the 8th, and wanted to send you our warmest congratulations. The 100th birthday of Sir David, and there it is, the chaos, the contradictions, the scattered fragments that don't quite fit unless you step back and see the pattern forming. Photos removed, access restricted, narratives clashing, accusations whispered just loud enough to be heard but never confirmed. And right in the middle of it all, King Charles standing at the center of a tightening circle, making choices that ripple outward without explanation. Because when a photo disappears, it's not just a photo. When a visit doesn't happen, it's not just scheduling. When a name stops appearing where it once did, that's not coincidence, that's a signal. And the most unsettling part? Everyone involved seems to be reacting, but no one is addressing the core issue directly. Almost like they can't. Almost like the real reason behind all of this is too explosive to say out loud. And just when it seems like the chaos couldn't get any more scattered, the pattern tightens and suddenly every disconnected moment starts circling back to the same uncomfortable truth, the same quiet decision that no one is officially confirming but everyone is reacting to in real time. Because what looks like noise, what feels like distraction, is actually a buildup, a slow stacking of signals that all point toward a single shift happening behind closed doors, where King Charles is no longer balancing both sides but choosing one direction and letting the consequences fall where they may. The public moments keep coming, but they feel different now, almost like filler, almost like something meant to keep attention away from what's really unfolding underneath. Appearances tied to figures like Sir David Attenborough, references to milestones, to celebrations, to legacy moments that should feel grounding, but instead they feel strangely disconnected, like pieces of a different story being placed over the top of one that is quietly breaking apart. Even the lighter fragments mentions of Thierry Henry, the laughter that slips in, don't land the same way. They feel out of place, almost like background noise trying to mask something much heavier pressing forward. And while those surface level distractions play out, the pressure beneath continues to build, especially around Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, where every new report seems to confirm that the distance isn't just emotional anymore, it's structural. Popularity numbers dropping again, now being described as an all-time low. Not just a temporary dip, but a sustained decline that mirrors the separation growing behind palace walls. And then comes the legal tension, the high court case. Prince Harry stepping into a public fight against the publisher of the Daily Mail, pulling the conflict into a completely different arena, one that doesn't just challenge the media, but risks exposing deeper fractures in the relationship with King Charles. Because that's the part no one can ignore anymore. The relationship between Prince Harry and King Charles is no longer just strained. It's described as out of touch, disconnected from reality, as if both sides are operating in completely different worlds with completely different expectations. And when that kind of divide reaches that level, it doesn't doesn't just stay personal, it spills outward, affecting everything from access to appearances, from education decisions to family connections. Even something as fundamental as where a child goes to school, whether that's Eton College or not, becomes symbolic, becomes part of a larger narrative about separation, about breaking away from tradition in a way that feels intentional, almost final. And then there's the moment that shifts everything into a completely different light, the revelation that King Charles is dealing with cancer, introduced quietly but carrying enormous weight, because suddenly every decision, every distance, every absence takes on a new layer of urgency, a new level of consequence. Time becomes a factor, priorities shift, and choices that might have once been delayed or softened now feel immediate, unavoidable, irreversible. At the same time, the contradictions keep stacking. The idea that Prince Harry wants the best for his children, the best education, the strongest connections, while also being positioned as the reason King Charles barely sees those same grandchildren. That tension doesn't resolve, it deepens. It raises questions that don't have clean answers. Who is actually pulling away? Who is setting the boundaries? And why does every version of the story seem to point the blame in a different direction? And through all of it, the silence from inside the palace remains the loudest signal of all. No direct confirmations, no clear explanations, just subtle shifts, photos missing, invitations unspoken, traditions quietly altered. The kind of changes that don't announce themselves but leave undeniable traces. Because when you line it all up, the removed images, the controlled appearances of Kate Middleton and Prince William, the public cracks from Prince Harry, the carefully curated glimpses from Meghan Markle, the legal battles, the health revelations, the shifting narratives about family access, it stops looking like coincidence. It starts looking like a controlled narrowing of the story, a deliberate reshaping of who remains at the center and who fades out of frame. And the most unsettling part is that it still doesn't feel finished. The story hasn't settled. The pattern hasn't fully revealed itself. If anything, it feels like it's accelerating, like something bigger is about to break through, something that will finally connect all these fragments into one undeniable reality.